Hello everyone, my name is Edgar Pavão, the lead developer of the Migration for Delphi project. Let's start our first application using the Migration for Delphi library. To do this, we need to know a few things about the architecture of this library. A migration is an update, so each migration in a project is a different update. The main unit of the project is the unit M4D. It provides access to all the features you need. So, everywhere we wish to use the library's resources, simply declare that unit in the uses directive of the project and ready. It will already be available for use. Another point to know is the T-Migration Facade class. It implements a facade design and facilitates the accessibility to the manipulation of migrations. Through it, for example, that migrations can be performed or returned. Although it is possible to do the same in other ways, its use is recommended because it centralizes the manipulation of all subsystems of the library, just to make it easier for the developer. Through this facade, it is also possible to access the T-Migration History Facade class, which is responsible for access the migration history information. Like T-Migration Facade, T-Migration History Facade provide ease of access and manipulation of execution histories, so its use is recommended. Each time an update is running, it stores a history to identify the performance of that execution, in addition to storing the last update executed. This is important to know, for example, which updates need to be performed, or what the current version of the system. Each migration has a unique sequential value that identifies this migration. This sequence is provided at the time the migration was created. All migration history is maintained through these sequences. Because it is generic, the migration history is stored in text files. This is far from ideal, and you should not use in that way, but this is necessary to give initial compatibility with all systems and environments, as they all have the ability to manage text files in some way. In addition, this simplifies all the management of the updates, so that the student of the project can focus mainly on the functionalities of the library and not necessarily in the technical aspects. However, you must implement the history class to handle the best you need for your environment, if used in an actual production environment. Because it is a solid project, this is easily done. There are 4 different types of updates to run. The executed procedure runs all registered updates. It does not consider the update history and always performs all updates. The execute until procedure performs all migrations until a given migration is informed. It does not consider the update history, running from the first update to the informed migration. The execute pending procedure performs all migrations that have not yet been performed. It walks through the updates history to find out which updates were last performed and which ones still need to be performed. The execute range procedures perform all migrations within a range of migrations. It does not consider the update history, running any migrations that fall within this range. Systems typically have the features of performing updates at startup, or when the user requests the update. This can be easily archived by calling execute pending because the system will run all the updates that have not yet been performed. Other options such as execute, execute until, and execute range are more focused on maintenance routines. Rollbacks are a way to return updates that have already been executed. There are 4 ways we can do this. The rollback procedure executes all registered rollbacks. It does not consider update histories and always runs all rollbacks. The rollback until procedure executes all rollback until a given migration is informed. It does not consider the history of updates, running from the last rollback to the informed rollback. The rollback pending procedure executes all the pending rollbacks, that is, all the rollbacks of the updates that have already been performed. It walks through the update history to find out what the last update executed. The rollback range procedure executes all rollbacks within a range of migrations. It does not consider the update history, running any rollbacks within that range. It's important to note that, in any case, Rollbacks are executed in reverse order of updates. Thus, the latest migrations are considered first at the time of rollback. Ready. Now that we know what to do, let's do this in practice. This is the demo project that goes together and download the project from the Bitbucket. It's possible to use the main features of the project. Here in the migrations, we have three important things. The first, within method setup, we have sequence versions that defines the sequence of the updates. The method up is used when we execute the updates, and method down is used when you execute the downgrades or the rollbacks. So in the first migration, we have a show message shown execute up to identify the execution of the updates, and we have the message execute down to identify the execution of the method down. Okay. Similarly, in the second migrations, we have a sec version 2. Okay. And in the method up and the method down, we have a message to identify this execution. Okay. So here we have the M4D unit declared in the use, okay, and we have some functionalities. The execute all migrations, we just access the migration facade and call for execute, okay. In the execute migrations until, we just access the migration facade and call for execute until. This code here is just to manage the inputs of this edit. Okay, for the execution until, we need a sequence to identify the last upgrades that will be executed. Okay, the execute pending, we just access the migration facade and call for execute pending. Okay, this will execute all updates that not yet being executed. In execute range, we have the start and the end. Okay, this is the sequence. So we just access the migration facade and call for execute range. Okay, with the first and the last migration that will be executed. Similarly, we have the same functionalities for the rollbacks. Okay, so rollback call, we access the migration facade and just call for rollback. For rollback until, we just access the migration facade and call rollback until. Rollback pending the same way, and rollback range the same way. Okay, so we also can list here all the migrations that was registered in the system. Okay, so in a migration, I have in the initialization section, I have a command to register migrations. So I register the class of this migration. Okay, this one. So I can list all these classes registered in the migration system. For that, I just need to access the migration facade, okay, and call for migration info. For that, I just access the migration facade, access the migrations register class, and call for migrations. This will return a list with a generic list here with the classes that was registered in the migration system. Okay, so I can get this migration and call for migration info to access the sequence, the version, and the date time information of the migration. Okay, also the class name and the unit name. So I can list these migrations registered, and also I can get the migrations history execution. So to do that, I just access the migration facade, access the migration history facade, and get history. This will be this will return me the list of the migrations executed. Okay, this is the item, this is the list. The migration history item is the item of the history of execution. So I get this list and I just access these informations to know which migrations, the versions, the date of creations, the start of executions information, the end of execution, and the duration of execution. So I have the performance information. So I can get the last migration here. I just access the migration facade. After access the migration history facade and call last migrations. This return the item, the migration history item, and I can access these informations from the item. Okay. And I can clear the history of executions. Just access the migration facade and access the migration history facade, calling for clear. Okay. So let's execute the project. I just clear here to start. Okay. So if I get the history, I have no one. Okay, so I will execute all migrations here. Here, the system showed me the execution app. That was the message that was in the first migration method app. Okay, and after I got the second migrations execution of the method app. Okay, so if I click in the get migration history here, I get the information of the execution of the migrations. Okay, so I can clear the history again. If I get the history, the migration history, it's clean. Okay, execution until I have two migrations, 1 and 2. I just will execute the first one. Okay, so I put the sequence 1 here, execute migration to the 1, and the system just executes the first migration or the migrations until the sequence 1. Okay, so I have this. Just clear here again. I will execute pending migrations. Okay, so this will execute all updates that was not executed yet, or in this case all the migrations. Okay, so I have executing up from the migration 1 and execute up sequence version 2 from migration 2. Okay, if I get the history here, I can see all the executions. If I click in the last migration history, this will show migrations 2 because this migrations was the last executed migration. Okay, I will clear the history again, and I will execute range, the first to end. So just one migration will be executed here. The execute range doesn't affect the history. Okay, if I set to 2 execute range, it will be execute the first and the second migration. Okay, so to test the pending migration, execute migration, I will execute until the migration 1. So I have the first migration executed, and I will execute the pending. See that the execute pending just execute the migration 2 because the first migration was already executed. Okay, so here I have the 2 migrations in the history. To the rollback, I have the same functionalities. Okay, so if I roll back all migrations, this executes the second or the last, and after this executes the first migrations method down. Okay, and clean the history. The rollback until works like the execute until, but inversely. Okay, so I will execute all the migrations here. I have the history here, and I just hold back the second. So I hold back the second, and I have just the first migrations executed in the history. Okay, because I hold back, I make a downgrade, okay, of the second migration. If I have just one and click in the rollback pending migrations, the system just executes the down method of the migrations 1, because the migrations 1 is the only migrations executed. Okay, so the history is clean. I will execute all migrations now. So I have the 2 migrations executed, and I will roll back all these migrations with the pending, because the 2 migrations was executed. So here I have the second rollback first, of course, and the first migration rollback executed. Okay, rollback range works with the start and end execution. So I have, for example, 1 and 2 here, the sequences of the migrations 1 and migrations 2. When I execute, it executes the second migrations first, and then the first migrations. Okay, if I put just 2 here, it executes just the second migrations. If I put 1, it executes just the down method of the first migration. Okay, that's it. It's some functionalities of the migration for Delphi. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks. Bye bye.